In the world of electric vehicles, time was once the enemy. A decade ago, you'd wait an hour to charge enough for a short trip. 5 years ago, expectations improved. 30 minutes for 300 kilometers. But today in China, a new standard has been set. One so fast it's left the rest of the world scrambling to catch up. 5 minutes for 520 kilometers. This isn't a promise for the future or a lab experiment. It's real production-ready technology unveiled by CATL, the world's largest electric vehicle battery manufacturer. While the West debates charging times, range, and production costs, a quiet revolution has taken place. Not in Detroit or Berlin, but in Shanghai. As the US and Europe raise tariffs to protect their domestic industries, China has chosen a different path. Faster, cheaper, and more advanced. With its cutting-edge, mass-producible batteries, CATL is silently reshaping the global rules of the game. Join Top 10 Discoveries Official as we dive into today's story. It's not just about a battery, it's about speed, power, and a subtle but unstoppable geopolitical shift. The name driving this breakthrough is no stranger to the tech world, but it's never commanded global attention quite like now. CATL. Contemporary Amperex Technology Co. Limited, CATL for short, isn't some fledgling startup. It's the world's leading EV battery maker, commanding nearly 38% of the global market as of 2024. With roughly 17 million electric vehicles worldwide powered by CATL batteries, this company isn't just shaping the battery industry, it's defining the future of electrified mobility. By 2025, CATL accounts for 38.2% of all EV batteries globally. In a crowded market with players like BYD, LG Energy Solution, Panasonic, and Samsung SDI, CATL holds nearly double the market share of its closest rival, BYD, 16.9%. It's the only company to maintain over 30% of the EV battery market for years running. Beyond EVs, CATL leads in energy storage with a 40% global share, cementing its dominance in both critical sectors. This dominance isn't limited to China, though it controls over 50% of the EV battery market in the world's largest EV market. CATL supplies major brands like Tesla, BMW, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, Ford, and Honda. Tesla alone accounted for 25% of CATL's revenue in 2022, underscoring its indispensable role in the global EV supply chain. CATL's financial scale is staggering. In 2021, its revenue hit 130.3 billion CNY, $20 billion, a 2.6-fold increase from the previous year. Net profit soared to 15.9 billion CNY, 2.47 billion, nearly tripling. By Q1 2025, despite falling global battery prices, CATL reported a 33% profit increase to 14 billion CNY, $1.9 billion, surpassing all forecasts. Its market value once exceeded 1 trillion CNY, $150 billion, outstripping General Motors and Ford combined. A remarkable feat for a company founded in 2011. CATL's production capacity is equally formidable, with a global network of 13 factories and 5 R&D centers across China, Germany, Hungary, the US, Japan, and France. By late 2023, its annual capacity exceeded 155 gigawatt-hours, with plans to scale up to 50 gigawatt-hours globally soon. Its Guizhou factory, 95% automated, produces 1 battery per second. CATL's investments are unprecedented. $7.34 billion for a Hungarian factory, the largest battery plant in Eastern Europe's history. 14 gigawatt-hours per year at its German plant, with plans to expand to 100 gigawatt-hours, creating 2,000 European jobs. A comprehensive battery recycling ecosystem through acquisitions like Brump Recycling and large-scale recycling programs since 2021. To easily visualize its expansion, imagine that for every 3 electric vehicles sold globally, one uses CATL batteries. Together with BYD, it controls over half the global battery market. Even amid US restrictions, CATL was blacklisted by the US Department of Defense in 2023. It still exported 4% of its EV batteries and 35% of its energy storage batteries to the US. At this pace, CATL isn't just transforming the battery industry, it's redefining how the world moves, one battery at a time. With its massive scale, advanced technology, and global reach, CATL is the undisputed leader in the battery industry. But to cement its lead over competitors like Tesla in the US or Panasonic in Japan, CATL needed a knockout blow. That blow is called Shenxing Gen 2. Unveiled at CATL Tech Day 2025, Shenxing Gen 2 isn't just an upgrade, it's a leap that redefines global standards for EV battery speed, durability, and performance. The Shenxing Gen 2 uses the LFP lithium iron phosphate platform, a technology known for its safety and long lifespan, but has historically been rated lower in charging speed compared to NMC or NCA batteries. Now, CATL has removed that barrier with staggering numbers. Peak charging speed of 12C, 3 times faster than the previous Shenxing, 4C, and surpassing BYD's Blade battery, 10C. 5 minutes to charge from 5% to 70%, adding 520 kilometers of range for a vehicle with an 800-kilometer total range per CLTC standards. For a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, 12C charging fills it nearly full in just 5 minutes, a feat once thought impossible. Compare that to Tesla's supercharger Figure 4, which peaks at 250 to 300 kilowatts. Shenxing Gen 2 hits a staggering 1.3 megawatts, equivalent to a small power generator. The peak power is nearly 1.3 megawatts. This is an unprecedented figure in the field of commercial electric vehicles. Even at 70% state of charge, SOC, it sustains over 560 kilowatts, maintaining rapid charging across practical usage ranges. In extreme cold -10 degrees Celsius, where most batteries falter, Shenxing Gen 2 charges from 0% to 80% in 15 minutes, hitting a peak charging power of over 400 kilowatts and delivering 830 kilowatt output when nearly depleted. In particular, the performance of Shenxing Gen 2 can meet extreme conditions. Typical EV batteries lose 30 to 50% performance below 0 degrees Celsius, but Shenxing Gen 2's 15-minute charge at -10 degrees Celsius makes EVs viable in harsh winters, opening markets like North America and Northern Europe. The charging power and output power are maintained at an exceptional level, ensuring stable operational efficiency for the vehicle. This is a true breakthrough, opening up the possibility of widespread EV use in cold climate areas such as North America and Northern Europe, markets that have traditionally posed the greatest challenges for electric vehicles. Behind these numbers are cutting-edge innovations. Granular gradation cathode boosts energy density and optimizes ion flow. 3D structured square anode controls volume expansion, enhancing durability. Module-free CTP 3.0 system increases cell packing efficiency by 7%, reducing weight. These advancements extend range, lower production costs, and improve safety. CATL claims over 67 new EV models will adopt Shenxing Gen 2 in 2024 to 2025, from affordable to luxury vehicles. The vision of EVs charging as fast as refueling a gas car is now within reach. In China, through CATL, is setting the standard. While Shenxing Gen 2 redefines EV charging speed, CATL is quietly preparing another game changer. Naxtra. If Shenxing is about power and speed, Naxtra tackles cost, safety, and resource sustainability. Launched at CATL Tech Day in April 2025, Naxtra is CATL's first commercially ready sodium-ion battery. Unlike lithium-ion batteries, sodium-ion batteries use sodium, an abundant, cheaper alternative to lithium, slashing production costs while delivering impressive performance. Naxtra's standout features include energy density of 175 watt-hours per kilogram, close to LFP's 185 watt-hours per kilogram average, but at a lower cost and with better temperature resilience. With this capacity, electric vehicles using Naxtra batteries can travel up to 500 kilometers on a single charge, a significant figure, especially for popular models aimed at the general public. In terms of durability, Naxtra is truly impressive. The battery can withstand over 10,000 charge cycles without significant performance degradation, far exceeding the 2,000 to 4,000 cycle lifespan of conventional lithium-ion batteries. This means that an EV using Naxtra batteries can operate continuously for decades before needing a battery replacement, a significant advantage in total cost of ownership. Not stopping there, Naxtra also excels in its ability to adapt to harsh environmental conditions. The batteries can operate stably in temperature ranges from -40 degrees Celsius to +70 degrees Celsius, expanding the usability of EVs to areas previously considered no-go zones for electric vehicles, such as Northern Europe, Siberia, or the deserts of the Middle East. Even at -30 degrees Celsius, Naxtra can still charge from 30% to 80% in just 30 minutes, an almost unbelievable achievement in the current EV battery industry. Safety is another triumph. In rigorous tests, drilling, crushing, even sawing, Naxtra neither exploded nor caught fire, maintaining structural integrity. In an increasingly sensitive market regarding fire and explosion incidents related to EVs, this is the strongest commitment to consumer safety. CATL's commercialization strategy for Naxtra is very clear. Begin mass production from December 2025 and aim to rapidly dominate the affordable electric vehicle segment, electric trucks, and energy storage systems. According to the assessment from Robin Zeng, CATL's founder, Naxtra could replace up to 50% of the current LFP battery market, a tremendously ambitious goal, but entirely feasible when considering the low cost and superior durability of this technology. However, Naxtra is not without limitations. Its energy density of 175 watt-hours per kilogram remains lower than premium battery types like NMC or NCA, which achieve over 250 watt-hours per kilogram. This means that in the near future, Naxtra will struggle to compete in the high-performance EV segment or luxury vehicles requiring extremely long ranges. Instead, it will become the ideal choice for the mass-market electric vehicle segment, electric trucks, and stationary energy storage. Markets that are enormous in scale but highly cost-sensitive. Looking further ahead, the introduction of Naxtra could create a profound impact on the entire global energy industry. As electric vehicles become cheaper and more durable, the Pujiization of EVs will accelerate significantly, particularly in emerging markets. At the same time, reducing dependence on lithium and cobalt, two materials facing significant geopolitical risks, also helps make the new energy ecosystem more sustainable and less controlled. CATL does not hide its ambition to make sodium-ion battery technology a flagship product. After the first version in 2021 achieved an energy density of 160 watt-hours per kilogram, Naxtra in 2025 has increased to 175 watt-hours per kilogram and set a target to surpass 200 watt-hours per kilogram for the next generation. With this pace of improvement, the gap between sodium-ion batteries and lithium-ion batteries is gradually narrowing, opening up a future where electric vehicles are not only greener, but also cheaper and more sustainable. If the Shenxing Gen 2 is a statement about speed and cutting-edge technology, then the Naxtra is a statement about accessibility, bringing clean energy to every corner of the world. The consecutive launches of Shenxing Gen 2 and Naxtra are not merely technological advancements. They are strategic moves meticulously calculated by CATL to reshape the power dynamics in the new energy world. With Shenxing Gen 2, CATL issues a direct challenge to Western giants on technology. When it takes only 5 minutes to charge enough energy for a 520-kilometer journey, electric vehicles are no longer a product for the patient. They become a practical, efficient, and more convenient choice than ever before. And this standard is established by China, not by the US or Europe. Going further with Naxtra, CATL opens an entirely new front, Pujiizing electric vehicles to regions and consumer groups that previously found EVs inaccessible due to high costs. When batteries can be cheaper, more durable, and safer, without needing expensive lithium or cobalt, emerging markets from Southeast Asia, Africa, to South America will become fertile ground for an EV boom. A revolution without weapons, without ammunition, but through batteries, and CATL has prepared a full arsenal for it. In the context of the US and Europe tightening control over strategic materials, from lithium in Latin America to cobalt in Congo, CATL's shift to sodium is a cunning strike. Sodium is present everywhere, in seawater, in mineral deposits, and cannot be controlled by any superpower. This means that China, through CATL, is gradually freeing itself from the resource constraints erected by the West. CATL's strategy does not stop at products. They are expanding factories worldwide, from Hungary in Europe to Indonesia and Southeast Asia, establishing a global battery production network to evade tariff barriers and trade sanctions. Once CATL batteries are produced directly on European or Southeast Asian soil, efforts to impose tariffs or bans will become meaningless. Notably, CATL is not alone in this game. They collaborate with giants like Tesla, BMW, Volkswagen, Western brands that need CATL batteries to maintain a competitive edge in the global EV race. This dependence creates a fragile balance, where even major economies must think twice before taking harsh measures against China. From a domestic manufacturer, CATL has evolved into a global player, holding two strategic weapons: Shenxing Gen 2 to dominate the premium EV segment and Naxtra to conquer the mass market. One hand pushes technological standards to the pinnacle, the other expands the market to the base. This dual strategy makes CATL the most unpredictable opponent on the new energy chessboard. If the 20th century was the war for oil, then the 21st century will be the war for batteries. And in that battle, CATL is not just participating, they are rewriting the rules. The meteoric rise of CATL, with Shenxing Gen 2 and Naxtra, not only shakes up the electric vehicle market, but also causes genuine concern among strategists in Washington. The real danger lies in the fact that global technology standards are quietly shifting toward China. When global consumers become accustomed to charging 500 kilometers in just 5 minutes, or when affordable, durable electric vehicles flood emerging markets, American manufacturers will be pushed into a defensive position. Worse still, once the technical standards led by CATL become the international norm, the U.S. will gradually lose its ability to control the new energy supply chain, just as it once dominated the global oil industry in the last century. Although previously the U.S. administration announced doubling tariffs on electric vehicles imported from China, raising the tax rate to 100%. The goal was to block the wave of affordable, high-tech Chinese electric vehicles from flooding the U.S. market, protecting domestic manufacturers like Tesla, GM, and Ford from direct competition. However, it seems that this is not enough to defeat this monster. The U.S. continues to push domestic support programs. The Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, with a package of incentives worth hundreds of billions of USD for batteries produced in the U.S. and strategic partner countries, is a proactive move to rebuild the battery, fuel cell, and electric vehicle supply chain without relying on China. Massive grants are pouring into projects like the lithium battery factory in Nevada, the material recycling plant in Texas, and the battery material production network in Michigan. At the technological level, the U.S. is also accelerating research on solid-state batteries, a technology expected to surpass current lithium-ion batteries in energy density and safety. Companies like QuantumScape, Solid Power, and projects at MIT, Argonne National Laboratory, are receiving strong support from both the government and private sectors, with the goal of creating a new generation of batteries that could propel the U.S. ahead in the next 5 to 10 years. Additionally, the U.S. is seeking to diversify raw material supplies. Instead of relying on lithium from South America or cobalt from Congo, the U.S. is heavily investing in domestic mining and processing, while expanding mining cooperation with countries like Australia, Canada, and Indonesia. Some strategic material alliances, similar to the OPEC Oil Alliance, are being quietly advanced by the U.S. However, despite striking quickly and forcefully, the U.S. still faces significant challenges. The current supply chain, from mining, refining, to battery production, has been tightly controlled by China for the past 2 decades. Rebuilding from scratch requires time, enormous capital investment, and sustained political consensus, something difficult in the context of a deeply divided America. Worse, as CATL has expanded globally with a network of factories in Hungary, Indonesia, and plans to reach Latin America and Africa, isolating them through tariffs alone will become increasingly ineffective. If it does not quickly rebuild the battery industry and regain control of technological standards, The US will not only lose in the electric vehicle market, but also forfeit its position in the global clean energy race, a race that will shape the world in the second half of the 21st century. In a world where the speed of technological innovation is measured in seconds, CATL is playing a bigger game than anyone imagines. While the US and the West hurriedly erect tariff barriers, pour hundreds of billions of USD into domestic production, and dive into the race to develop solid-state batteries, CATL already has a head start. They control the market, they dominate the standards, and they change consumer expectations right now. Every electric vehicle that runs faster, cheaper, more durable, and behind them is China. The war is not just between Chinese electric vehicles in any single country. It is a war to define the future. Who will control clean energy? Who will redraw the map of global power in the 21st century? Can the US turn the tide with breakthrough technology like solid-state batteries? Or will CATL's lead in scale, cost, and commercialization speed shape the game in the long term? What do you think about these two unique weapons of CATL? Would you also want to try an electric vehicle powered by a CATL battery? Share your thoughts below in the comments. And if you want to continue following the technological battles quietly changing the world, don't forget to subscribe and follow Top 10 Discoveries Official. We are only at the first chapter of a much larger revolution,